Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video because first trip to the range with my brand new Ruger 7722. If you watch this show, you know I've kind of become fond of these 77s. I won't go you through a bunch of boring history of me and the 77s, but I've got this same rig in 44 mag, 357 mag, 17 Hornet, and the 17 Winchester Super Magnum. Now I've got one in 22 Hornet. So, first trip to the range. The last video I got this Tasco scope on it. It's got a lot of zoom magnification. These newer ones, they're doing in small runs. They're kind of hard to get, but Tollivers can get me anything. And these new ones come with threaded barrels. That's kind of what got me hooked on them from the start. But 22 Hornet, what in the world is it? It's a cartridge that's kind of gone by the waysides in a lot of people's minds. You might have never even heard of it or seen it, but check that out. That's a 22 Hornet. It's got a little funny bottleneck. Tollivers had this ammo in, so I got a couple boxes of it. Hopefully it groups good out of this thing. But it's some 35 grain VMAX. 35 grain VMAX. I'm gonna run these by my chronograph as we sight it in. So what's it say here on the barrel? 70 feet per second. I can't remember the exact barrel length of this. I'll pop it up on the screen right here when I edit it, but it's probably gonna be a tad slower on this. These 77s kind of have shorter barrels, 18 or 20 inch, can't remember. But let's see what happens. It should be a laser. Believe it or not, these are actually legal. They are allowed for whitetail hunting in a lot of the South because it's center fire. A lot of the whitetail regulations in the South say, if it's center fire, send it, buddy. I'm not kidding. So where a lot of the old timer or the outlaws will say they used to, or some probably still do, use 22 mag or 17 HMR on deer, you know, where they're poaching and whatever. Well, these are allowed because they're center fire, at least in my state. I'm not saying I'm gonna deer hunt with 22 Hornet. It's just random information I'm throwing on this, but I remember, okay, story time for 30 seconds. I was a forklift driver at an Aldi's grocery store warehouse, unloading trucks and moving pallets around and stuff. And this old timer, you know, full of tattoos, biker guy, long hair, all he wore was overalls. At the time I was kind of getting into deer hunting, you know, you outside on break just talking about whatever with all the other forklift drivers. And he had a 22 mag in his pocket randomly, just a bullet. And he said it was actually, I think it was a VMAX. It was red tip, whatever it was. This is about 20 years ago. And he said, yeah, man. And he was like, I don't even know how many deer I've taken with this 22 mag. It's great on deer, you know. This guy, he's probably just popping them out of his truck and going down the back roads or whatever. But yeah, some people do that. I've met at least one of them. Anyways, that has nothing to do with the 22 Hornet. Let me show you this rig up real close, and we're going to get it sighted in, get to slinging them, see how it groups with this ammo that I've got for it. 22 Hornet. All right, so real quick, here's the setup. Like I said, this is a Ruger 7722. They come with those 1-inch rings in the box. If it's stainless, the rings will be stainless. If it's blued, the rings will be blued to match it. This has whatever this gray coating is, so they're gray. Yeah, I put this Tasco scope on it. It's an old school Tasco. I pulled off of something else I got used. It is a 6.2/24. So we got plenty of zoomies. You watch the show, you know I like the zoomies. More zoomies, more better. It has the front parallax adjustment. And yeah, the end is threaded. That can is a Banish 223. So the end of this barrel is threaded half by 28 threads. So the Banish 223 goes right on there. But close up of the box here. This is what we're slinging out of it. See a little bit of the ballistics there. Let's send some downrange. See what happens. All right, so I've got no idea when this scope was made, but I think it was kind of ahead of its time because of the turrets. So it has capped turrets, but it is pretty legit dialable turrets. I think this scope is actually going to work pretty awesome. Let me show you the turrets up close. I was surprised when I popped the cap off this. It actually has legit turrets for dialing. I've just bore sighted it, so we'll see where it hits on paper at 100 yards. Hopefully we're on paper here, but I was actually surprised with this old school scope having this nice of turrets. I just have my glasses somewhere. I'm gonna have to grab those, get my ears in. Let me grab my ears, hold on. For my glasses. And target going down range, I put 3 in the mag here. Let's see if my bore sighting was worth any count here. Fed good. That's one thing out of these 77s. They all feed pretty good. Here we go. Can we get it on a little piece of paper? One thing, this scope leaves a lot to be desired. It's yet definitely usable, but it's super foggy compared to anything I've looked through in the past 10 years. And to get it to focus, I had to set the parallax on the 300 yard mark, even though my target is exactly at 100 yards. But will it work? Yeah, it'll work. But yeah, definitely fuzzy. Let's hope we hit this paper down there. Looks like, man, this thing is foggy. It looks like, I think, we hit the very bottom of the page perfectly center. So that's good. We shouldn't have to adjust to left to right, but our up and down is pretty far off. So how many inches is it on the paper? 1, 2, 3, 4, just over 5, say 5 1/4 inches. So that should be 20 1/4 MOA, right? And this is an MOA scope. So not 20 1/4, 5 1/4, 20 clicks, 21 clicks rather. So it's down, so we need to come up. So we just click it 21 times and see if it goes down to that hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We'll give it 22 clicks. Should I save that brass? Nah. Probably won't reload this one. Glasses on. Took them off to look through that fuzzy scope. Oh, also, by the way, we got 2950 feet per second. So I'll show you all the speeds at the end of the video. This one should hit a lot more closer to that center bullseye though, huh? Yep. And another one, same hold. Yep. Let's make that a group of 3 real quick. So easy sight-in, huh? Absolutely 0 recoil in this 22 Hornet. Since I picked this up, we were talking about deer hunting with 22s. 22 250 is fantastic for deer. I've got videos doing that. But I've had several people send me pictures of them and their kids deer hunting with 22 Hornet. People said they even did lung shots. So, but this thing has 0 recoil, if that's what your goal is. Send another one into that group. Man, it's windy today. Yeah, so that group's going to come in, pretty close to 1 inch. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to adjust the scope at all because the average right there is pretty near. There's one in the middle, one above it, one below it. I mean, the average is the middle. So I'm going to leave it right there and see what it does in another group. It suppresses well. Obviously, we're dealing with 3,000 feet a second. So looks like the barrel's speeding up too. So it's not quiet, but definitely suppresses well. I'm sure it would be loud if we didn't have that suppress on there. But let's do a group of 3 in the top left target now. Do my best here. Kind of bouncing around that center, aren't we? So this ammo's not the best, but it's not terrible out of this thing. but this is the most readily available ammo, this Hornet VMAX stuff. Oliver said they had like a whole case of this stuff. Well, if I can get the mag out here. It's one thing downside about these 77s. The mags they don't drop out easy. Now maybe they're supposed to have that tight tolerance, but the mags are not, you know, you're used to your typical bolt action. You just hit the button and them suckers pretty much come out, or they pry out easy. These are hard to get out. Let's do one more group of 3 because I'm having fun with this thing. So far, I think our average is going to be right about an inch group with this VMAX ammo. Let's do top right target. Send 3. Oh, I jerked the trigger on that one. Let me send one more. That last one was garbage. I don't know why I jerked the trigger, but I did. Yeah, so I'm having to like push the button on the bottom and then pop the mag out by pushing it down. Man, we're getting some wind. I'm gonna discount that bad squeeze one. It's the leftmost on the target. Well, that one hit pretty near it, so maybe I shouldn't, but I don't know why, but it looks like it's walking down and left. And it shouldn't be, but I'm gonna send one more just to kind of see if I need to adjust this scope. Everything's torqued. I know that scope's not loose, not moving. Let's go bottom left target and really slow down and take my time and just kind of verify the 0. This barrel is speeding up. That's 30-23. Bottom left just to verify a 0. Super focus here. Yeah, it's definitely, I'm gonna bring it up. And right. I don't know why all of a sudden it went down and like that, but maybe it's just because this barrel's so hot now. It's not that hot actually, grabbing it. It's not that hot. Send one more into that same little target there, just to see what happened with this scope. Old foggy scope, but like I said, I think it'll do. Think it'll do for a 22 Hornet. What I want to do is a long range video with this one, but hopefully this scope is up to the task. So bottom left there again. And we're back in the bullseye, so I'm gonna leave it there for now. Let's measure those groups and look at our chronograph readings. Be right back. All right, so check it out, how'd we do? Not too shabby. I think most people would probably be pretty happy with this. Me, I'm kind of like, meh. When I get happy and when I get big smiles is when I get half-inch groups at 100. This, I'll show you, it averaged just under a 1-inch group. So first hit was down here, then we came up here and did 3 0.94-inch group, then we did a 0.99. Then our last one with 4 into it is a 1.03. That's measuring all 4 hits. For whatever reason, as it got hotter, it started to walk. So this was the first one, then the second one, then the third one. We're starting to go down and left. Did it again. I made a 1-inch adjustment up and right, and I hit a bullseye. So, I mean, that's not uncommon when you get a barrel hot that the impact shifts a little bit. That can happen sometimes, but I don't know. We'll see next time I get it out. It might be high and right an inch. We'll see. But first ammo I tried out of this 77-22 with the 22 Hornet, averaging under an inch. That's the 5th one of these 77s that I bought in like the last year and a half. Every single one of them, it's been real easy for me to get 1-inch or better groups. Which some of them you might not think so. 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum at 100 yards, yeah, under 1-inch groups. Let me show you the speed data here. So, it says I sent 13 downrange. Quite a spread there. What is that? 70 feet per second spread. That's not the best you ever seen, but yeah. And how do we get to the thing here? Let's go shot record. So you can see at the end there, it was definitely faster than at the start. So all the ones at the beginning were slower. And then at the end, the very first one was the slowest. 38 off the average. Interesting. Here's the summary. Our average is 29.91. That's what I use when I do the drop tables and energy tables. And yeah, SD of 19. Not the greatest you ever seen. But there you have it. First trip to the range with this 77-22 Hornet. Picked it up from Tolliver's on the square in Manchester. Hey, these are small runs. They're hard to get. This is probably going to be a keeper forever. 22 Hornet. I've got the same one in the 17 Hornet, and it does good too. But hey, appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more. Comment what you want to see next time from this 22 Hornet. I got a bunch of ideas. One of them we're going to stretch it out for sure. Hopefully this scope does good. I kind of want to put a rail on it and then just a big old Mondo scope. Something that was made in, at least in the past couple of years, you know. This scope I'm pretty sure is like 20 years old. But hey, it got us 1-inch groups at 100. But appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned for more. Lots of fun and exciting videos on the way. I promise you don't want to miss. We'll see you on the next one. Hoo-doo!
Load it up and get it on as soon as you can. 30 on 6, 10 mil, 50 cap. It don't make a difference, man. We like to shoot and make a little boom boom. If you like